I assume all of you are familiar with our Norman Public School website. So our address is just normanpublicschools.org. I am Catherine Lewis. I'm the Director of Libraries and Instructional Technology for the district. And my counterpart is Beth Albert, and she is talking to a parent right out there, but she is the Director of Professional Learning and Assessment for the district. So we're going to show you a little bit about our Norman Public School webpage, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with, but there's a parent tab right here that has a drop-down menu which has all things parents, so I hope you found that. And the tab we're going to go to tonight is the technology tab on that website. So as you see this video, you'll see exactly where I'm going. So on this hi, how are you tonight? On this technology site off the Norman Public School website for the parents, there's a little, just a very general thing about the iTech initiative, which is the initiative that most of your students are involved in. If you have little ones, they're involved. But they won't get their own computers until they're in the 6th grade. So we have lots of things up and down resources here. So there are resources up and down here if you need them. But what I'm going to show you tonight is the Digital Safety and Citizenship, which is just a click right here, okay? And it says Digital Safety and Citizenship. And so we define digital safety as how students, learners, protect themselves, how you protect yourself online, what do you do to be safe online. So that's how that's defined. We define citizenship as how you act online. So the etiquette around, if you will, the etiquette around being on the internet. And then we define digital footprint is the what you leave online. So that's more and more what we need to know. On the right-hand side of the screen are some parent resources, and there's parent resources for all grade levels, because some of you told me you were more interested in elementary, some of you have older students, so there's a little bit of everything there. One of the most common, prevalent websites for parents, which I will direct you to for all kinds of media, is called Common Sense Media. So it's right here, there's a click right here, and it's Common Sense Media, and it has information about television shows and movies. It has information about books. It has information about games and computer apps. It has information called Parent Concerns, and I'm going to click on Parent Concerns because I like what they have here. So they have tech use, so they have cell phones, screen time, privacy, online safety, cyberbullying, social media, technology addiction, which are all things that you might be looking for. They also have information, digital challenges. So there's a section on sex, gender, and body image. There's marketing to kids. So what's happening with that? We all see a lot of marketing for kids. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking, violence in the media, and YouTube. So these are all, again, parent resources. There's learning and growing, so there's news and media literacy, there's learning with technology, there's mental health, there's character strengths and life skills, special needs and learning issues, reading, early childhood, and back to school section. So you may be interested. There's also a Latino section of this site if you need that. And there's a section on research. So I wanted to point that out to you. I think it's a very good site. So if you go back over here to our site, There are lots of other things. One thing that I will call your attention to, so you just know it if you hear it, is the COPA information on the site, which is a federal government information about what schools are required to do around digital citizenship. So one thing that SIPA and COPA say is that schools should provide training around cyberbullying, for example, is one of the things they talk about. And being in a chat room. So those are the kinds of things that the federal government says, and there's a link there to share that with you. There's also the Google for Education privacy information there. And I also wanted you to see this. Our teachers, I want you to see that. Let's see if we see that. I opened this earlier. Our teachers are all trained in the ISTE, the International Society for Technology and Education standards for students. And there are standards that are national standards about what students should know and be doing around instructional technology. And so there's a standard for a student as an empowered learner, as a digital citizen, what we're talking about tonight, as a knowledge constructor, so creating new knowledge, as an innovative designer, so think students around creativity and innovation, a computational thinker, a creative communicator, and a global collaborator. So those are all out there for you to read and see, and that ISTE website is very robust. So all of these things are out here for you to look at, but I did want to share with you what our district does. Yes, I'm sorry.
I have a question about that. We're talking about all the education that the teachers are going through.
Yes.
What about those 1,000 plus emergency certified teachers that are out there in the classroom?
They all, in Norman, all of our teachers go through ISTE training for teachers, and in Oklahoma, it is a state mandate, I guess is the way I should word it. It's a state requirement that all teachers go through ISTE standards training. So in Oklahoma, that's a requirement. I assume other states have equivalent requirements, but here, that is a requirement. And we work really heavily back when we do new teacher induction. Do you want to address that a minute?
Correct. We provide 4 days of new teacher induction for any new teacher that comes to Norman annually. It's a 4-day training, and that's to immerse them into the curriculum that we use, the standards. We have them work with our curriculum coordinators. We are teaching them about trauma and resilience and classroom management and bullying, and I mean the list goes on and on. But in addition to that, our principals have staff meetings. And those staff meetings are just not informational in nature. There's also professional development embedded into those staff meetings because we have a lengthy list of required professional development for all educators annually. In fact, the state provides a full page of what we're required to do with our teachers, and we have it documented. So they have to have sign-in sheets, and we have to verify that they've had the required training. So it's a lot, but we do take care of those educators. In fact, I was speaking to another parent. We have 31 emergency certified teachers here in the district. Right. 31. Right. At the state level, there's 1,900 plus.
Right.
So I promise you, we do have extra supports in the district for those teachers. New teachers, brand new teachers, have a mentor teacher that work with them the whole year. We also have new teacher liaisons in every building that work with these teachers. And this year we've added an additional layer of support in having teacher support specialists, one at the elementary level and one at the secondary level, who go in and coach these teachers in the classroom, trying to look for where we need our greatest support. And those are the teachers that are on our radar, I promise.
Beth, could you mention, and I'll mention the role of librarians, but would you mention the role of the iTech coaches at the secondary level, because they have a role with teachers also?
Certainly. Last year, when the district went to one-to-one, we knew that our teachers needed support. I mean, many of our teachers had never had a math book, just like our students had never had a math book. And so in order to make the transition and have it be as seamless as possible, we hired 6 instructional technology coaches. We have one at each middle school and one at each high school. And the role of these coaches is instructional in nature. They're coaching teachers with technology. They're helping teachers figure out when the technology is appropriate and when it is not. So if you went to the session on healthy screen time, we're not coaching our teachers to use technology all day long. Sometimes it's not appropriate. And in fact, teachers have, the majority of the teachers, and again, majority, I can't say all because we're still working with them. They're at different levels, just like our kids are at different levels. But teachers are working on having standards for use in the classroom. So some use a light system on their board where red light means you don't need your technology today, so the students can walk in. If they see that, they know I don't need my laptop out today. Or green light, have it out and ready. They might have an opening activity for them. So again, things we're working on with students.
I will say that our librarians at all levels also are really well trained in safety and citizenship and work with teachers and students in that area and help them in that area. So for you who are little kid, and we do, Beth have some young elementary folks, we have required training that we do with all our students, and we start with the little bittiest. I have my grandson is in pre-K, and so he's had this training this year. So we just talk very simply with them. There's a couple of, and you can get to these things. They're there for you to get to too. There's a couple of less than 2-minute long videos. Remember, these are little children, about staying safe and my online neighborhood. They meet with their librarian to learn how to find a book. We have online card catalogs, so they learn how to find a book and what they do to find a book. They learn about what resources we have. So we have some resources that are available to you as parents online at the library sites at each of your schools. If you go to the school site, there's a school site, there's this on your school's webpage. There's a click at the top that says library, and if you go to the page that says library 24/7, there on the right hand side of the page there will be a symboloo, which looks like what'd you say a symboloo look like? A graph kind of, or a little bit that has different links to different sites. For example, if you're a parent of a little kid, you want to know about a site called PebbleGo that we have a subscription to, and the password for you at home is Norman NPS, all lowercase, and the login's Norman NPS and the password's Norman NPS. If you're an older student's parents, there's Encyclopedia Britannica, there's EBSCO periodical index, there's Grow Your Index, and the password is all the same. It's Norman NPS and Norman NPS, all one word. It looks funny because there are 2 N's in the middle, but it's there, and I'll show you that in a second. So one of the things we want to remind our little bittiest children is to keep their personal information safe and who they should not tell their information. At the very end of this, we have them do an activity with Chatterpix. So as you go up the ladder, Beth, you need to keep me on track with my time. As you go up, get older, we talk to kids more about netiquette, about cyberbullying, about basic internet safety rules, and about digital footprints. What are they leaving when they're out on the internet? You know, you have to be careful what you leave there. So that's there. We talk about advanced search features. We start talking about copyright and fair use. So it begins those conversations about plagiarism and things that we need our students to know at an older level. When we go down here to digital safety for our older learners, I'm going to go right here and show you this link right here that says Digital Citizen Safety. And this is the NPS iTech Boot Camp, and this is for all secondary parents. There's information about the acceptable use policy, and one of the things we do with our secondary students when we do digital citizenship is we have them write their own acceptable use policy after we do training with them. So that's a really interesting activity, and I hope some of those came home to some of you this year, that you saw them. There's some parent information right now, it tells about tonight. But right here is a piece about digital citizenship. And so in this area, there are some resources for you down here, but this shows what our middle school and our high school digital citizenship curriculum looks like. And if I click on that, being very patient with the internet, there are 5 modules. I'm just going to show you while I'm here the beginning of one thing, and I pulled this up earlier, so hopefully it will play for us. We use some videos with the students, and the iTech coaches who Beth mentioned a minute ago developed this, and I think they picked really good videos that really resonate with our older students.
And we actually got some positive feedback.
Is the internet really dangerous? I mean, aren't your parents and teachers just overreacting to the dangers that lurk on the interwebs? Did you know the internet is a series of tubes?
The internet is not something that you just dump something on. It's not a big truck. It's a series of tubes.
Truthfully, these adult folks in your life have a point. Online threats are real, and that's why today I'm going to show you how to be safe online. Think of me as your online bodyguard with really puny biceps. Don't judge me. All right, look, there are 3 main threats for teens online. So let's deal with the biggest threat first, shall we? The biggest threat to you online, you know what it is? It's you. You are your biggest threat. Actually, let me be more clear about that. The biggest online threat to you is you posting or uploading something stupid.
So anyway, so this is a series of modules that the teacher...
That's good for adults too.
This series of modules is here. We provide an activity and we provide the learning goals, an activity, and discussion questions that are done as a class. So there's an online module on cyberbullying and social network. There's one where we saw our friend Josh just now on online behavior. Let me scroll down here. There's one on care and keeping of your MacBook. So how do you just take care of this physical thing you're carrying around now? There's your MacBook. There's one with frequently asked questions. And then there's the final module where they build their own acceptable use policy. So they build their own and have to share that.
So if you have a middle schooler or a high schooler, ask them about
their
acceptable use
policy. So, and that the training in elementary school is required to be completed by the end of September. However, the training for high school and secondary students is required to be completed by Labor Day. Because they have those devices in their hands, we feel like it's really important for them to have that right away. So that has to be completed, and we have a checks and balances system to make sure every student gets that, and we also have a checks and balances for new students who come into the district, like in the middle of the year. I mean, we have to make a provision for those students to get this information too. So that's the crux of that. Do you all have any questions for Beth and I that we can answer at this point?
For my middle schooler, that acceptable use policy that he should have come up with, is that on his computer somewhere?
It should be.
Okay.
So check with him. Yeah. Other questions?
And again, on the training that students had to do at the secondary level, students complained last year. They didn't like the format, and they voiced that opinion. And so, like Catherine mentioned, our iTech coaches, along with our librarians, got together, and together they created those modules. And already at the beginning of the year, we had students that were on the superintendent's advisory who stated, in fact, more than one student stated, we noticed that you listened and you changed to digital citizenship. Thank you, because it was so much less painful. They know it's something they have to do, but you might as well make it fun and engaging. And even you said good for parents as well. Absolutely.
I will share with you that if you go back out to this technology site, if you're unfamiliar with the technology, there are lots of help pages out here. So if you don't know how to use Google Apps, and there are tutorials out here that would help you. So it's a lot of stuff is here. So don't hesitate to go look around, because there's lots of stuff that you could use. Yes, ma'am.
So the question I asked in the other room as well, but we were kind of running short on time. The biggest question I have is, how do I get to the Google Classroom? And how do I see? So to give you a very good example, my son has an assignment, he is studying for something, they're doing these worksheets and these assignments, he turns them in, and it's happened for the 4th time now that he came home with an F. He was a straight A student in 5th grade. And I want to go back, so next week are tests, and I want to go back and work with him on, okay, where did you fall short? Did you not read the instructions? Or what did you do?
Right. What did he miss a concept? Right.
Did he miss a concept?
Right,
Is
right,
that
sure.
something we need to work on, right?
Sure.
We can do that. The problem is, I don't know what to work on with him because, A, I don't know how to get to the Google Classroom. None of the teachers can tell me. I have reached out to every one of the
Which
teachers.
middle school are you at?
Alcott.
You're at Alcott.
None of the teachers can tell me how to get there. They have no idea. I have tried to figure out for him to pull up the assignment he submitted to see how it was graded, kind of like the Thursday folder with the paper you get the week later. And he says to me, I don't know how to do it. I don't think, once I have submitted it, I can't go back and look at it. So yes, I see the 50 out of 100 or the 38 out of 100 in
Right.
his grant portal.
But you don't know how to
Doesn't do me any
help.
good.
Right.
Means
Right,
nothing
right.
to me. Also, when they go in there, sometimes they have different websites they have to go to answer a question.
Right.
Is it always clear to the kids that, oh, on this website, I need to hit done, check it off, and submit, or I only need to hit submit? Because
Right.
he missed that altogether, and so he got
Right.
a 0, it was
Right.
an incomplete.
Right.
It's, I struggle with it because I don't get the actual feedback of where he's missing out, where
Sure.
is he struggling, and I think he is missing out because
Sure.
he doesn't always know what to do, and I think the teachers either take it for granted or they don't know it.
There's the paper trail, that missing paper trail makes it very challenging for us because even when we
Right.
want to access the conversation, we're sort of like, I don't even know where
Where
to
do we
start.
Sure.
And I have now,
That's
I mean, I can show you all the emails I have sent to the teachers, and it's like, well, once we figure out and we'll get it, and I'm like, meanwhile, he has F's in science, math, language, and social studies in the last quizzes, and the thing is, I don't even know where to begin to help him.
Well, we can help with that. So
We
one of
can.
two things.
Yeah.
A lot of times parents will ask their students to log into their Google Classroom with them sitting there so you can see the student's view. But there is a way to add parents so that they have the information. You can't actually be a member in the classroom, but you should be able to get parent notifications.